Hello, everybody. I'm Clarence Anthony. I'm CEO and Executive Director of the National League of Cities. Welcome to another episode of City Speak. Today, I'm talking to two influential leaders that are really deeply involved in economic development, economic resources to their residents, and what makes an American city great. And I think that clearly we know the partnership between local government and city leaders, along with the private sector, is one of those elements. Our first guest is Mayor Andre Dickens, the dynamic 61st mayor of Atlanta, Georgia. He is a proud native of Atlanta, a product of Atlanta Public Schools, a Georgia Tech alum, a co-founder of a multi-million-dollar retail business, and served on the Atlanta City Council for 8 years. I got to tell you, last year, the mayor hosted the National League of Cities City Summit, and it was our 99th City Summit. He did an amazing job, and I will tell you, all of our members are still talking about that conference, Mayor. So thank you so much, Mayor, for being here as a part of our panel.
Thank you.
Also joining us is John Berroya, a director of Google's Government Affairs and a great partner of the National League of Cities. John leads the public policy team. And his team is global, and they're proactively engaging with governments in support of Google's core consumer-facing products, including AI, search products, maps, commerce. John, you got a big job, and we're so glad that you're here. Before joining Google, you were interim president and CEO and general counsel for the Internet Association. So John brings a long amount of experience and knowledge in this area. So thank you all for being here. City Speak is one of the important podcasts that get to our members and talk about the issues. Mayor, let me start with you. You've been the mayor and have been recognized as a leader in adopting smart cities technology. Tell us some things about the key initiatives that you're currently focusing on in Atlanta.
Yeah, thanks, Clarence, and thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here for this good discussion that we're having today. And I was definitely happy to host NLC in Atlanta last year for the 99th, on our way to the 100th this year. I'm a technology leader. I grew up learning about technology and got a chemical engineering degree and went on to work in technology. So I like thinking about how technologies can improve cities. And so when I became mayor 2.5 plus almost 3 years ago, several initiatives have come about since then. One initiative that we worked on is our Operation Clean Sweep. And this is something that outfits our city vehicles with cameras, and they are using computer vision to detect illegal dumping and roadside debris. And that's to help clean the streets up more quickly and more efficiently. This is using AI technology. It's an application of AI, but not the generative type of AI that you've been hearing about for days. But this is the type that's very helpful to community. We're going to utilize that same technology to detect blighted neighborhoods and blighted properties because on our sanitation trucks, it will be taking scans of the communities and feeding that AI technology and information back so we know where there's illegal dumping, where there's blight in our communities, and how we can improve that. And so we recently introduced a blight tax that we can use to tax individuals that, we have a lot of corporate folks that buy up all the properties and then just sit on them. And they don't have any intention on bringing them up to productive use so that families can move in them. So this AI technology that's on our sanitation trucks is going to help us identify these blighted properties, be able to notify those property owners, hey, your building is crumbling down, or you got mattresses and junk all over this property. We need you to do something about that. And we send them letters, and these vehicles are helping us be able to have the computer vision to detect these things that are not maintained. One other thing that I'll say is that we kind of use it also in looking at traffic. Another initiative is to look at traffic signal timing, because that can cause traffic if you don't have proper, signal timing. And it's to make our traffic flow more efficient and better as a whole. So that's just some of the ways. And I have, a number of other ways that we use in technology.
I mean, ultimately, you used a couple of words that I think is important as a CEO of a major city. You talked about efficiency, and what other things occurred because of the implementation of some of these more technological programs?
Yeah, I mean, like the community gets a great benefit out of this because, where a human may take down a node and might lose the node, or it may not aggregate into this district, or this area has a higher concentration of dumping or blight. That computer can calculate how many parcels it saw. It can kind of do some, equity analysis to be able to say, okay, this is where we need to spend the most of our attention, and this is systemic in some kind of way. It'll even kind of tell you if it's more so single family dwellings, multifamily dwellings. So the data analytics that happens at the instant almost is helping communities be able to process what humans and workers feel anecdotally. The community gets the benefit of a computer being able to tell you, exactly and technically what's happening. I think that helps us, be able to put what we feel anecdotally, like it's a lot of blight over here, or it's, junk is piling up. Come do something about it. That's what happens when people call 311. But when you actually have, AI technology and sensors being able to say, what you're seeing is real, it's large trash or it's small trash, then you kind of can go about delivering solutions faster.
No, I appreciate that because I think sometimes our residents or even the world may think of AI as just animation, but as the mayor, you're looking at an effective, efficient, fair, equitable way of identifying issue and dealing with that issue. And I'm excited to be able to hear about the way in which you're using AI in those ways. And talking about that, John, thanks to Google, you're a founding member of the NLC AI Advisory Council. And it's been interesting because you guys have worked with us to really find out from municipal leaders, how do you want to use AI? What is the most effective way? And what challenges are you seeing in your community that we can help you address? How do you think it's working? And what advice are you thinking about from these meetings that you can give municipal leaders?
Well, first of all, let me thank you for the warm welcome, Clarence. I really appreciate it. I'm so pleased to be here on the podcast with you and Mayor Dickens. I also want to thank Mayor Dickens. He's such an incredible partner for our Google Atlanta team. We're so proud to have an office there and a lot of Atlanta Googlers who are in that metro Atlanta area. The work that we've done together on the Atlanta Beltline Marketplace, which, Mr. Mayor, I hope we have time to talk about at some point during this podcast, supporting technology-focused workforce skilling and reskilling, which is incredibly important and also important to do in an equitable way. Atlanta is just incredibly lucky to have a tech-forward mayor like Mayor Dickens. So I want to say that out front. He's a wonderful partner. I'm so pleased that Google's been a founding sponsor of NLC's AI Advisory Council. I think the work's been great. Honestly, it goes back to a conversation that we had at City Summit last year in Atlanta, where we were talking to you in the initial stages about how can we support the work that NLC is doing around technology. What do your members need, and how can we show up? And I remember you said something to the effect of, listen, anybody can show up with a check, but what we need is to really understand how can we, in a practical way, use this technology? What is it? And there are some mayors that are very sophisticated, like Mayor Dickens. There's some mayors and city council members that are just starting to figure out this is a potential tool for them to use, but they don't know what the right starting point is. And what I think is the best thing about the work we've done so far with the advisory council is the toolkit, the AI toolkit, which is going to be released in Tampa as part of the upcoming city summit in just a couple of weeks now. And it basically does two things. The mayors who are part of that council, and it is, as you know, a diverse group, really representative, I think, of the membership of NLC. And they focused on two big challenges. One was demystifying the technology and talking about it in terms of how these things in a practical way can actually help cities and improve people's lives. And Mayor Dickens talked about a couple of great examples of that. And then the other thing that was a huge challenge that they wanted to tackle with this toolkit is creating pathways for cities of any size to use AI to modernize their government services, make government services more accessible to the communities. And as a company that's focused on delivering products and services that help take the world's information and make it easily accessible to people, no matter where they are or who they are, that really is a wonderful connection to the Google mission. And it's a really nice piece of alignment, I think, between the work that NLC does and the work that we try to do every day here at Google. The toolkit itself is a great piece of work product, I think. It focuses on how cities can really harness the power of AI to enhance public services and improve the quality of life for residents. Just in simplest terms, that's what it is. And that could be optimizing traffic flow, like Mayor Dickens was just describing. It could be reducing energy consumption. It could be figuring out ways to deal with the heat island effect, right? That the heat that gets trapped when you have a lot of concrete and a lot of buildings. Those of us who are living in the mid-Atlantic in the summertime, we know how that is. Even in New York City, it's a big problem. And when that trapped heat is affecting a population, you need to figure out ways to mitigate that. And there are AI tools that allow you to do that. Google's got an Environmental Insights Explorer that is a free tool to cities that they can use to identify various ways that they can reach sustainability goals and try and keep their cities cooler. And frankly, for city officials who are just beginning their AI journey, this toolkit can act as a framework to help them identify ways to adopt these technologies to meet their specific priorities, because the priorities of Tampa aren't necessarily going to be the priorities of Dearborn, Michigan, or Albany, New York. And I think having that conversation with city leadership and then figuring out, okay, what can we use this technology to do? Talking with other mayors about how they've successfully implemented AI in their city services, how they help their communities. It's a really wonderful thing that NLC is doing to convene these conversations. And we're proud to be a part of it.
Well, thank you, John, for that. And I want to go back to that in a minute, because I do think I want the mayor to help the municipal leaders that will be listening. If you ask any mayor of a major city, are you a smart city, or are you the best smart city in the world? All of them would say yes, including Mayor Dickens. But Mayor, I think John talked about the fact that sometimes it's hard to get started in terms of your journey of implementing AI or any smart tools. How did you overcome that apprehension, or your team or your council? How did you bring everybody along on this journey? Because it has to be bought in by everybody on the team.
Yeah, I'm really lucky to be in Atlanta, where we have a lot of technology leaders. Our academia is big here in terms of technology. Georgia Tech, my alma mater, produces so many engineers, so many computer scientists, the professors, et cetera. Everybody is tuned in to what's next, right? It's trying to figure out how we innovate and create new opportunities for companies to come about out of the academic institutions, but also so that people get good jobs. And so that was one thing that Google was really instrumental in training folks. We want to make sure that people have opportunities to participate in this economic boom that comes from having a good career in technology. So training people, whether they are college students or after college, but also training individuals that did not go to college. College is expensive, but there are some people that deserve the opportunity to utilize their knowledge and skills and grow those skills, right? We don't want everybody to be consumers only of this technology. We want some producers. And that's for our student base, our young base. Those folks can learn how to code on the back end of the games that they play, or all these apps we use from social media. How do they actually work? So we've been working with a number of firms, and Google being one of the largest that has really rolled up their sleeves to help us. One thing I say to other mayors and other community leaders, government leaders, is part of my advice is to begin by using technology in your personal. So, the more you start using it in your day-to-day life, the easier it will be for you to use it as a business application or a government conversation. When we're at NLC or any of the conferences, companies are coming up to us. And when you have a zero starting base, you might take a business card or not take a business card that really could be helpful for your community. So if you have a general starting base, like Chat GPT on the baseline, right? Just, being able to start using some pretty basic tools to, get a decent comfort level on technology, then that might reflect itself when someone does talk to you from your staff. But also, I think, you can get excited by it. And like I take meetings now that, I probably wouldn't take if I felt totally inadequate in technology. So I think having a starting base, having a curiosity. So there's several built AI tools, purpose-built AI tools that Google has and others do too. So getting more information on them is easy. Last thing I'll say is, when you hire young people and keep them around you, or technology inclined people, they push the envelope too. I'll give you an example. We had a large water main break in the end of May, right after Memorial Day, or right around Memorial Day. And, we now have AI technology that is allowing us to detect leaks faster. These devices were out there, and it can now help you think about pressure, acoustics, and flow, and any anomaly that occurs inside of our pipes. These things send signals back to a database that says, is this, this system looks like there's some oddity. Oh, there's a leak. It's a small leak now, but it could be a big leak really fast. Let's get on top of it, saving hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, between the time that we detect a leak and when we can get in there and repair it. So it's not just, being technology aware to be cool. It's being technology aware so that you can implement, various technology solutions that can save you money, and for you politicians, it can save you your job because folks will say, "Hey, we're moving ahead in utilizing technology." This is an AI tool that's artificial intelligence that's determining that this something's odd about what's happening in this pipe. And so we have about 200 in this demonstration. We're already seeing the benefits, and now we're going to go system wide with it. And that's just one thing. Google has this $10 million, the Small Business Development Grant that we're telling our small businesses to apply to, so they can improve what they're doing. So the government is improving, small businesses can improve, and so on and so forth.
Well, Mayor, I can tell you when you talked about the business card, I feel like I'm really cool now because I have a QR code, man, that I don't even carry business cards anymore. So, I am way ahead of things. Hey, John, let's jump on some real examples. Do you have any AI case studies or technology case studies that you've seen where cities have used it in a way that they can ensure that it's ethical and equitable, because we don't want to leave anybody behind as we, develop our communities. You got any examples you can share with our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, on the ethical use of AI, obviously, really important topic, right? It should be front of mind for all of us. It certainly is for those of us at Google. We published AI principles in 2018, and all of the AI products that we roll out adhere to those principles. In addition to that, we are on an ongoing basis collaborating with industry partners. Mayor Dickens mentioned academia. We work very closely with academia, governments, and agencies worldwide to make sure that when we do these pilot programs, we're having conversations about the various impacts on communities, right? Because you never know when you have a blind spot. Having partners you can trust to kind of keep an eye out for those things helps ensure that what you're putting out into the world is going to be something that's useful and beneficial. And that's ultimately our goal. So in terms of actual case studies, several of the things that Mayor Dickens described are consistent with a lot of the work that we've been doing with various cities. But I can give you a few, maybe 4 or 5 specific examples. So let's start with tools that improve city services and help citizens. Dearborn, Michigan is a great example there. It's an incredibly diverse city where over half of all the residents speak a language other than English at home, right? To make information about city services more accessible to that multilingual population, Mayor Hamoud worked with the Google Cloud team to create a virtual assistant that's able to provide information to citizens and visitors in multiple languages. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days per week, and it even has ability to translate documents as well. So if you need to apply for a permit, English isn't your native language, you'd speak some English, but maybe you speak Spanish as your native language. You can get onto the website, you can work with the virtual assistant, and you can get access to those services. You don't have to take time off of your job to go down to a city office to get access to that help. Memphis is another great example. Every city in America has potholes that need to be filled, right? In Memphis, Mayor Strickland and his team worked with the Google Cloud team and one of our partner companies to mount high-resolution cameras to a bus, similar to what was going on in Atlanta with the sanitation vehicles. They took a whole bunch of footage, drove all the streets, and what they were looking for were potholes and abandoned or blighted buildings. Over the course of this pilot, the AI was able to, with over 90% accuracy, identify potholes and abandoned or blighted buildings. All very helpful. In addition to that, it helped the city identify manhole covers and curbs that had been accidentally paved over, which could be a big problem. And beyond that, because in Memphis, they've got some resources, and I'm sure other cities, including Atlanta, probably do as well. They've got resources available to assist people who are homeowners who are having trouble keeping up with the upkeep of their homes. So there were some of these buildings that weren't abandoned, but they were blighted, and the homeowners needed assistance. And this program allowed the city of Memphis to more easily identify those homeowners and make them aware of these resources that were available. So in these communities where you want to make sure that people are living in safe conditions, you want to make sure that the roads are safe for pedestrians, for bicyclists, for drivers. This AI is a real game changer. Beyond that, we were talking a moment ago, Mayor Dickens was talking about businesses. Small and medium-sized businesses are the lifeblood of economies in many cities and towns. And these types of businesses are using Google's AI-powered advertising tools and Gemini, which is our generative AI product, to manage their advertising campaigns, draft social media posts. It allows them to find customers, interact with customers more easily, and ultimately it helps them compete more effectively with much larger brands that have huge advertising budgets. That's huge, right? That means that they can reach customers outside of their city limits. They can have more meaningful interactions and really build relationships within the community. And that can make or break a small business that's being run by an entrepreneur who's just trying to get their business started. AI also provides disaster warnings, right? We've got a couple of products, FloodHub and FireSat. FloodHub accurately predicts river flooding. We can't use it for all kinds of flooding, so unfortunately it's not something that helps with coastal flooding. but it's able to accurately predict the height of river flooding and when that flooding is expected to help emergency responders and personnel evacuate people and make sure people are in safe places and not near riverbeds and rivers, rather, when flooding is going to occur. That's a huge problem in many parts of this country, and that's a tool we've rolled out globally. FireSat is an AI tool that identifies and tracks wildfires, which is also a big problem in many cities and towns throughout the U.S., certainly in the western states in the summer. And then finally, improving health outcomes, right? Community health is a huge issue, and the lack of access to high quality community health services is a big problem in a lot of communities, especially rural communities. One of the things that Google Health has done is partnered with healthcare experts to pilot the use of AI in a variety of situations, including assessing mammograms. Using this product with some of our government partners, we're essentially trying to figure out how we can use AI in combination with human review of the actual films, with the goal of increasing access to high quality screening for breast cancer, which is something, if it's caught early. And my own mother was diagnosed with breast cancer twice. When you catch that early, the survival rates are so much higher. So being able to apply this technology in a way that has a meaningful, direct impact on people's lives, from healthcare to keeping them safe in a disaster, to helping them build businesses, and just giving them access to services in the language that is their native language. It's a whole lot of different things that provide tremendous value to communities.
No, I think that's very important for city leaders to know that, you can look at these products comprehensively from birth all the way to as you transition in your life, because we got to have healthy communities. We got to have communities that are educated, and communities that can get job opportunities through training and economic development, business opportunities. And so it's good to know that as policy leaders, we can look at all of these tools in a way that we can address the challenges that we have in our communities. Mayor John talked a little bit about, I think it's the Beltline
Yeah.
Market Program. How did we use in Atlanta any of those tools or technology or AI as a part of that area and program, which the area is amazing. Every time I come to Atlanta, I go in that area. So we want to talk about that, Mayor?
Yeah, I mean, so the city, Google has a nice size office here in Atlanta, and the team here likes to work directly with the government and with the community. So that's one big thing that I like about the partnership, is that it's not just, hey, this is a place where we can do business. Google says this is a place where we can, help impact community outcomes and really partner in robust ways. The Beltline is a loop around the city. It's what we call an emerald necklace. It's a green way around the city, 22 miles of track that you can jog, walk, cycle, and it's got green space, parks. It's an economic driver, because now you have restaurants, retail, bars, etc., schools and grocery stores around there, and now offices. That's where you want to be. And so partnering with Google to help us with talent development, making sure that people, train to get good jobs in the technology field, to also partner with us in some of our youth serving organizations. And Google has partnered with us on the Mayor's Youth Scholarship Program and other things. So, technology that has been helpful as well. Like I mentioned, our $10 million small business development grants that are going to go to small businesses. An announcement that was just made to help small businesses utilize AI to fulfill some of their back office stuff. All of these companies that wanted to specialize in restaurant work, they are also specializing in paperwork and human resources and all those things. Well, AI is going to help those guys manage inventory, financial things in the back office, human resources, marketing. So leveraging AI technology to help small businesses is big. And, AI will help them really well in the marketplace. So I don't know if you want to add more to it, John, about our partnership.
Yeah, no, I think you said it all, Mayor Dickens. It's all of those things, and providing workforce training and helping these people, not just giving them the tools, but helping them understand how to use them and apply them as they're building their business, get more sophisticated. As you said, unless you start playing around with it, you're not going to understand it, and you're not going to figure out how to use it. So that's really kind of the first hurdle for a lot of people. It's I think the intimidation factor. I don't know anything about this. I don't necessarily feel comfortable with it. I've read some things about it that maybe exacerbate my feeling of discomfort, but it's like being scared of, the ocean or something like that. If you get in the water and you start to get a feel for it, you acclimate yourself with it, maybe you get comfortable, maybe it's something you really enjoy, and maybe that becomes a really great and helpful experience in your life. So I kind of think about technology the same way, and I love these partnerships with city governments that we do, but bringing the technology to people and helping them get their hands dirty, really, and figure out how to use it to better themselves and better their lives is wonderful.
So, Mayor, I'm going to close with this question. I know all cities are competitive. All mayors are competing with each other for great companies like Google. And if you had to talk to an elected official or mayor of a city that has not gotten started on their journey because they're apprehensive about the transparency, the ethics of it, the applicability, how you use it, tell me, what would you say to them saying, hey, Mayor, you got to get started, why they need to get started?
Yeah, it's here, and it's going to be here even more. So you can't look at AI as something you're going to escape from or get away from, and don't let the negative news about certain things hurt your opinion about AI. Fire can be used to cook your meal, or it can unfortunately burn down a house, right? So you want to utilize the tool the right way, and to know as much as you can about the tool so that you can be the most efficient and effective at utilizing that tool. AI is right now here and it's doing amazing things, and it's going to do even more. Yes, some people, utilize it for, these memes and graphics and pictures that aren't real, or for voices that aren't real, or, text messages or some other kind of, just over marketing or, infiltration into your life in that way. We have an ethics about this that, the city government is utilizing it for the benefit of the community, and the federal government is looking at it for the benefit of the community. So I would say you got to catch this wave, or else it's going to catch you, and it'll catch you off guard or ill prepared. And you don't want to miss this. This is the future, and it's just like small businesses. I'll tell you. A lot of small businesses might be nervous about AI, but we're seeing that, hey, no, utilize it for your back office, the stuff you don't actually want to do. you want to continue making your art, or making your food, your culinary that you're selling to the world. You want to continue to teach your classes, or your studio, or whatever you have as a small business that we all enjoy. Let AI help you, cut out the need to spend that extra Saturday and Sunday hours doing all that paperwork when you really could be enjoying your family, and making fewer mistakes and having more free time. So I think government can see it the same way.
Well, let me just say to the City Speak listeners, this has been a real conversation. This is not AI. It's been it's been great information that really can change a community, from health to job opportunities to efficiency to ethics. It can be a game changer that will help your community become more competitive, because businesses are looking for transformative cities, but more so, Mayor, they're looking for transformative leaders. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be a part of City Speak and being the 61st mayor of Atlanta. I've heard your story. It's a big deal to you, and it's something that you dreamed about. And I can tell you from coming in town and being a part of meetings with you and your team, you guys are doing an amazing job. And John, to recognize that real outcomes comes with public-private partnerships, that one doesn't work without the other, is really good for an organization like Google to recognize that and partner along with the city and the National League of Cities. I want to thank both of you for educating and sharing about AI technology. Mayor, how you using it? John, some real examples. And I hope that our subscribers and our leaders will pick up the phone and call some of those cities and talk about how that partnership is working, because that's the goal. We need to share, we need to network, because right now in America, everything really is happening at the local level. Local leaders are doing it. And so thank you all very much. Appreciate you taking your time to be on City Speak. And I know that our listeners and subscribers will get a lot out of this conversation. Y'all have a good day. Be safe. And Mayor, I look forward to seeing you in City Summit in Tampa, like we were at the 99th in Atlanta. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening to City Speak with Clarence Anthony. If you like the show, let us know. Share this episode with your friends and make sure to subscribe. We're curious to hear what you think, what you want more of, and how we can improve. If you have feedback or an idea for a guest you'd like Clarence to sit down with, send us your thoughts at cityspeakpodcast@nlc.org. Join us next month for a new episode. Like and subscribe here or wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time.